Hello everyone, this is Suresh from Azure ADB. Today our topic is one of the interview question. Question is like how to get new records when compared between two tables. Or you can say if you have bronze table and silver table, then how to get new records from bronze table when compared to silver table. So thing is, this scenario we can do by three methods, or you can say three approaches. One is by using not exist and not in, or by using left join with help of is null. So suppose you assume I have two data frames. One is DBA underscore data. This is the source data frame, or you can say latest or updated data. So that means I got a new data. So next DBA underscore details. This is my target table. So that means this is my existing, or you can say old data, or it is in my database. So next, employee underscore ID is the primary key in both tables. Okay, so first we'll see. So same question, it can be asked in different ways, like how to select all records from one table that do not exist in another table in SQL. Or this way, write a SQL query to find records in table A that are not in table B without using not in operator. So this can be asked either of the way. So one is this one, and second one is this way, and third is this way. So first we'll see by creating data frames. So my first table is DBA underscore data. So I have a table script, this one. So here I have four columns, employee underscore ID, employee underscore name, employee underscore salary, employee underscore age. And this is my insert script, and I have this much data. So if I create this table, and after creating this table, if I call this table DBA underscore data, so this is my data. So I have total 4 tables and I have 6 rows in table A. And second table is DBA underscore details. So in this, I have this many columns, 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and my table name is DBA underscore details. And in this, I have 2 rows. So I am inserting 2 rows into this particular table. So if I call this one, this particular table, so I have these 4 columns and with 2 rows. So now what I'll do is, so I'm going to do with first method by using not exist. So what it gives is, if I use not exist, this gives you all rows in DBA underscore data. So that is my first table, where the employee underscore ID does not exist in DBA underscore details. That means in second table. So that means new records from table A. So first we'll see what is not exist and how it works. So first what it does is, first it will run outer query. Then what it does is, it will run inner query for entire table. So this inner query, what it gives is, it gives either true or false. And if you pass this one true or false to our outer query, depends on, if you are getting true, then it gives you corresponding output. If you are getting false, then no output. So first, if you compare first row, how it works is, suppose from outer query, first row of first value, I'm going to compare with outer query with row of inner query. So this I will explain with these examples in detail. So, or you can say this one as top-down approach. So in not exist, so we can say this is correlated nested query. So this is my outer query and this is my inner query. So in between I'm using not exist. So here first row of outer query. So that means from this outer query, first value that compares with first row of inner query. So here I'm going to explain in detail. So if I write my query like this, select star from DBA underscore data. So that means I'm pulling data, all data from DBA underscore data where not exist. I'm using not exist. So if you see here, this is outer query. So that means up to here, this is my outer query. And here I'm using not exist in between. And this is my inner query. So inner query, this is outer query. And in between, I'm using not exist. So why we're calling this correlated nested query is, see in where condition a dot employee underscore id. So that means a means this is outer query and b dot employee underscore id. B means inner query. Okay, so this inner query and outer query. So we are comparing here. So that's why we'll call as correlated nested query here. So if I run this query, so I will get this result. So what is this result is from table 1, which are all not there in table 2. So that we get result here. So now we will see in detail how we are getting this. So first method, we are talking about not exist. So this is my query. So this is my inner query up to here. Sorry, this is my outer query. And see this I mentioned outer query up to here. This is outer query. And whatever here I highlighted, that is my inner query. And this inner query will give you result either true or false. Suppose this particular case I am getting false. So I will explain how we are getting false. This false we can say as output of inner query. So that means this is my inner query. So this inner query output I am getting false. So that is the meaning. Now we'll see how we are getting false here. So this is my table 1, this is my table 2. So here I have total 6 rows. So here I have 2 rows. So here what we are doing is, so we are filtering by using where condition. So a dot employee underscore id. So a means this one, dba underscore data, this one, this table employee underscore id is equal to b dot employee underscore id. So b means this table b and employee underscore id. So here what I'm doing is, as per our definition, if you see here our definition, what it telling is compare first row of outer query, first row of outer query with row of inner query. So that means first row of outer query. So this is our outer query. That means this one. Outer query means dba underscore data. So from this first row. So this is our comparing column. And in this, I am taking first record. So this first record, I am comparing with row of inner query. So this is my inner query table and this is my column and I'm going to compare with this entire row. So that means this my first record is SA001. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare with each and every record of table B. So since I have only 2 rows here, what I'm going to do is my first record is SA001. SA001 is equal to SA001. So that means these both are matching. Next, SA001 is equal to SA003. So that means that this is not matching. So here, since we mentioned not exist, so not exist means see SA001. So when you are comparing each and every record, you have this record SA001, it is there. But since we given not exist, since it is value is matching, then you will get false here. Suppose if you are using only exist here, then you will get true here. Okay, so since we are using not exist, and since this value is there, means this value is there in table B, that means it is false. So when this false comes, this false for what we are getting, for inner query, we are getting false. That is one. So this our inner query result is false. Then what we discussed is if you are getting false, we are output, we are nothing, we are going to get. If you see here, if true, then it gives corresponding output. Otherwise, no output. So since we are getting false, since we are getting false here, so it not generating any output. Okay, so when we are comparing with first record with table of all rows, so we are getting empty. So that means here if you see row one means this value of DBA underscore data compares with all rows. That means all rows of DBA underscore details. Okay, so this you have to keep in mind. So like not exist, how it works. Next, now we saw first record. Next, we'll see about second record. So this is my second record. This second record, I'm going to compare with all rows of table B. So SA002 equal to. So this is not matching. And SA002, so here also it is not matching. So since it is not matching, output it gives true. Why it gives true? We used not exist here. So when we pass this true, inner query result is true, then what it gives? It will gives the output. So earlier we got false, so we don't get any output. That's why this one empty. Since now we got true, then this particular row will get in output. See here SA002 Kumar 25,027. So here we'll get this output. Next, we'll go for third record. So this record, we are going to compare with all rows of table B. So SA003 equal to, no, this is not equal. Next, SA003 equal to, see here it is matching. Since it is matching, it is false. So this false, when you pass here, this inner query, now it is false. That means it won't give you any output. See here. So our first and third record, there is no output. Next, we'll go and compare fourth row. So this fourth record, we are going to compare with all rows of table B. So SA004 is equal to, so it is not matching and here also not matching. Since it is not matching, it giving you output as true. So when you pass this true to inner query, that means we are going to generate this record SA004 Krishna 32,031. See here, we are getting this record. Next, we are going to compare with fifth record. This is SA005. So this one we are comparing with all rows here. Since there is no match here, it will give you true. And if you pass true here in inner query, that means we are going to generate this row here. So SA005, David, this one. Next, we are going to compare with the last record. So SA006. So when we are comparing with each and every row, see, we don't have matching here. Since there is no matching, we are getting true. So we when we pass true to inner query, so that means we are getting this result here. So totally two false. So remaining four are true. So that means final our result is these four records. Okay, so same thing we are getting here. If you use not exist, see here 2, 4, 5, 6. See here 2, 4, 5, 6. So that's how we are getting this records, new records of table A. So this is one method. So second method is using left join with is null. So that means this joins both tables and filter out rows where there is no match in DBA details. So syntax is select star from DBA underscore data, that is our table A, and we are using left join here with DBA underscore details, and we are giving condition A dot on employee ID, primary key employee ID of both tables. And see here, since I given only left join, if you see here, left join, since I'm using only left join, no, this is my table and this is my table. And when we are comparing with primary key, employee ID, see here, this is our employee ID. So SA001, SA003. So only these two rows we have common records. So once you apply left join, what you will get? This is our left table. So we will get as it is. And in our right table, we have only two records are matching. That is SA001. So here, see here, we are getting this value of this right table. See here, SA001 arrays SW developer 32. And one more record is SA003. So that is this record. If you see here, SA003, Rohit, web developer 34. So these two records, we have common records here. So we are getting these values from table B. But if you see other records, since there is no matchings, it generating all nulls here. All nulls here. So next, what I'm going to do here, I am filtering these nulls. See, from previous query, by using only left join, this is our result. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here, I'm using filter condition with by using where b dot employee underscore id is null. So that means b dot employee id. So that means this one table B. So here I want to filter out nulls. Okay, so I want to get the output wherever this employee ID has null values. And if you see here, we are getting this one, SA002. See, this one has null. So we are getting this one. Next, SA00456. See here, so these are all the records, we have null values. So where employee underscore ID is null. So this is our second method by using left join. Okay, so same thing I did here. First I did with left join and second I did with filter. After left join, I used filter. Next, our final method is using not none, not in. So we had to be cautious while using not in. So before applying not in, we have to make sure that there is no nulls in our data. So if you have nulls in our data, so then this is not suggestible. So it is always recommended to use either not exist or left join with null. So this how it works is, so here same thing is mentioned. This can behave unexpectedly if you have nulls. So what will happen is it will return 0 rows. So during that time, always prefer to use either not exist or left join. Okay, so now we'll see how it works not in. So not in how it works is first inner query will get execute once. See here earlier inner query execute each and every record. Okay, multiple times it will execute. But here inner query will execute only once and output of inner query is compared with outer query. So earlier what happens? So outer query of first record we are comparing with inner query of all the records. But here first we are running inner query and whatever we are getting output now, that output we are comparing with outer query. So here what I'm doing, so select star from db underscore data. This is my first table and I'm using where condition. So this is my primary key employee underscore ID not in. I'm using not in and inside that if you see select employee ID from DBA details. This is table B. So this will see how it works. So if you see not in, see here this up to here now, this first one, this is outer query. And whatever this highlighted, that is inner query. And whatever this one, this is our output of inner query. This query output is this one. And here we are using not in. So this is my first table, this is my first table, and this is my second table. And if you see inner query, select employee underscore ID from DBA underscore details. So what we will get is select employee ID from DBA underscore details. So here we have SCA001. 1 minute, I need to correct this table name. So this supposed to come here and this supposed to go here. So here what happening, select employee underscore ID from DBA underscore detail. So this is my table B and from here I'm selecting only this particular column. So this particular column, I have only 2 rows. So that I'm getting here, employee ID, and this has these 2 values. This is my output of inner query. So that means inner query, I have 2 values here. So since we explained already at the definition, so first inner query will get execute once. See here, it executed once single time, only once it executed and we got result. So this result we are going to compare with outer query. So how we are going to compare is, so first we are checking this SCA001. So this record we are checking in table A of employee ID column. So if you compare this one, first I'm going to compare this one, SA001. So first I will compare with this value. See, I have this value. Okay, since this value is there, so this is not going to print. Okay, since this is common record. Next, I'm going to check SA003. So first I will compare here. This is not matching. Then the will go to second record. This also not matching. Then it coming here. So here it is matching record is there. So that means SA001, SA003 in this particular table, we have 2 common records. And whatever we have no non-common records means that means which are not matching. So those rows we are getting in output. Okay, so that means inner query, it will run only once. So whatever this output is, inner query output. So we are going to compare with table 1 of each and every record. Okay, so SA001, since now match is there, okay, so this is common record. So then it will check each and every record if any uh, common records. So since it is primary key, so there won't be any duplicates. It will stop at first record only. Then if you go for second record, SA003, no match here, no match here, then here match is there. It will stop here. So this way it will work, not in. So now, and I assume that you understood what is the difference between not exist and not in. So totally we have three methods to resolve this particular query. That means how to get new records when compared to uh, two tables. So that's all about this video. If you really like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.